AFPADVERTISINGinRead invented by TeadsADVERTISINGinRead invented by TeadsBrexit border deal. Theresa May faces a backlash from the DUP. Theresa May's efforts to secure some form of Brexit deal have provoked a barrage of criticism as the UK is split on her shock decision to give Northern Ireland a different deal to the rest of Britain. And EU diplomats have warned the talks have been stalled yet again, with Brussels forced to step back while the UK deals with its own internal political differences on the EU exit. Katy Adler, BBC Europe editor, tweeted earlier, "No one knows what's going on now," one EU diplomat told me. EU diplomat tells me, the EU is on standby now for UK internal politics to play out, again. Related articles: Brexit news, what will happen to the Irish border after Brexit? Furious DUP sunk Brexit deal, May forced to call off talks. The Irish border remains the key stumbling block in the way of Brexit talks proceeding to the next stage. And Theresa May's efforts to secure Brexit progress were labelled a shambles in the Commons today as John Bercow sought to avoid a spat between MPs. Former UKIP leader Nigel Farage also called on Mrs May to leave office now as she faced growing criticism over her shock move to concede to the European Union today over the Ireland border issue. Regulatory alignment could mean both Ireland and Northern Ireland following the same rules governing trade, to ensure that goods can continue to move freely across a soft border with no checks. Arlene Foster and the DUP hit out at Theresa May's deal. Regulatory alignment could mean both Ireland and Northern Ireland following the same rules. Speaking ahead of Mrs May's meeting with Mr Juncker, Ireland's Deputy Premier Simon Coveney told RTE Radio 1 he believed that the post-Brexit border would be invisible with no barriers and will look very much like it looks today. But Arlene Foster made clear the DUP would oppose the deal if it meant Northern Ireland being subjected to different rules from the rest of the UK. Speaking at Stormont, she said, "We have been very clear. Northern Ireland must leave the EU on the same terms as the rest of the United Kingdom. We will not accept any form of regulatory divergence which separates Northern Ireland economically or politically from the rest of the United Kingdom." The economic and constitutional integrity of the United Kingdom will not be compromised in any way. EU diplomat tells me, the EU is on standby now for UK internal politics to play out, again. Katy Adler, BBC Europe editor. The DUP, which props up Mrs May's minority government in the House of Commons, has previously warned it could withdraw its support in Westminster if a deal is proposed which threatens the integrity of the United Kingdom. Mrs Foster's intervention disrupted the choreography of events in Brussels, as the PM broke off from talks for urgent telephone discussions with the DUP leader. Mrs May's planned meeting with European Council President Donald Tusk was delayed, as was an expected statement by Irish Taoiseach Leo Varadkar. BBC journalist Laura Kuensberg said Arlene Foster's furious response to a proposed solution to the Ireland border issue scuppered the deal. Ms Kuensberg tweeted, "Hearing it was the DUP call that sunk today's chances of a deal." Foster held her press conference. 20 minutes later May leaves talks with Juncker to call her, goes back into the room and the deal is off. Sky journalist Beth Rigby quoted a UK government source as saying, "They were on board but the language was too strong for them." Ms. Rigby added, "Got Dublin over the line but not the DUP." For today at least. Earlier today, leaks from Dublin indicated the UK was prepared to concede single market and customs union rules in Northern Ireland should not be changed after Brexit. Related articles: Tusk ready to move on to trade, Council President reveals all-fro. Labour MP calls for a general election to present pro-EU agenda to exit at Theresa May after Irish border agreement fails.